Okay, go ahead.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us for this presentation. Our project is Trello Project Management. So imagine a collapsible bulletin board filled with lists that include sticky notes, and on those sticky notes we have color-coded pins. Now imagine that's all digital and you can access it from your phone. That is what Trello is. Next slide, please. So if we haven't met before, my name is Angel Vo. My team role is team leader, so I am coordinating all of our activities, meetings, and I'm also the team leader coordinator. So I'll be connecting with each team leader so that I can mentor, guide, and help all the team leaders get their teams up to speed and really produce quality output.
My name is Aditya Bagchi. I'm the one that will be taking out all the information and analyzing the data. And I'm hoping by the end of this presentation, you guys have learned a lot about Trello because it's going to be very important for your project and your presentation and also for myself.
Hey, my name is Daniel Park and I am the project coordinator for our team. And so I consistently update our project plan and make sure our team stays on track so we can help y'all as best as possible. So I want to start off by explaining the SDLC, which I think is very good for us and should be good for every other team since we're working on projects as a team. And so what it does for you is it gets your project idea and kind of simplifies it to a more operational and functional system for your team. And we're currently around the development and implementation stage right now. Next slide, please. So I wanted to bring up some stats based on what I've seen on the Trello board so far. So far, 5 out of 17 teams that are on the Capstone board right now have made cards on the board so far, and 3 out of the 5 use labels, which are very crucial for being organized on the board. So I wanted to bring up a statistic that we had for our team. And so we created 6 cards for our list, and we believe that it increased our team efficiency by 85% because of the rate of change from kickoff to present based on our grades. Next slide, please. So these are like the biggest key features of Trello. So you obviously know the boards, lists, and cards. So the board is like the overall background and like the whole generalization of Trello. So the board is what the Capstone group created for all of our teams to be on. And so each team has their own name, which is the list. So ours is project management, which is the first one. So you'll see that that's the list. And underneath each list are cards. That's what you guys would want to put to organize your information. Next slide, please. So I wanted to get a little more into it. So boards kind of show like an overview of the workflow. So like everyone else, and then lists kind of hold the stages of progress. So more in depth of like what each role is. And then cards kind of show what you need to do, how you need to do it, and what the work in progress is and everything. Next slide, please. So this is a brief look at our card and list that we've made so far. So as you can see, all the arrows at the top, it says our list name. And in each card, you can add due dates, members that you need to include, and status labels and card names, which really help us know when and how we're doing throughout the week. Next slide, please. So we really want to implement card labels, which are huge because you can color code it on your own knowledge, whatever you guys want as a group. And so for green, we said completed in low risk, yellow in progress, medium risk, and red behind in high risk. And so you can constantly update it to show where you're going through as in progress. And it shows a lot of consistency for your cards. Next slide, please. And so once you get to your card, you can see on the right, there's like a description of what you want to add to what you need to do for each task. And so on the right side, you can look at all the different attributes of what a card holds. So we added labels, numbers, dates, and if you want to add files to it, even better, and comments. And if you add someone, it'll email the person and notify them, so you know like who you want to get in contact with. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Daniel. So now I'm gonna go ahead and talk about, somebody unmuted, sorry. Okay. So as I was saying, next I'm going to go ahead and talk about email automation. And so what this is just your weekly report of what exactly you put in Trello and these Trello cards. And there are multiple different reports that you can create, whether that's all your cards, what you're overdue, what's coming up, and your full board snapshot. And what we want for you guys is just recurring reports. So we understand that every week that you have some kind of objective set and what we're looking for in you. Now I'll go ahead and specifically talk about automated reports. With automated email reports, show progress each week to an email to everyone, whether that's ourselves or to your teammates. And these emails will show exactly what your progress has been every week and exactly what we're looking for in a Trello board. And the big requirement that we're looking for is that you're labeling your cards accurately, because we want to make sure that you guys are on track with whatever you set for yourself this week. Next, I'll talk about adding notifications guides. And so we want you guys to set up notifications so that you guys get emails every week of what exactly you need for Trello, what exactly you need to put on your cards. And like Angel mentioned, there's a mobile app that you'll be able to download. It's completely free and it shouldn't take up too much space on your phone. And lastly, like I think I mentioned earlier, you can add people to your cards, and there are instructions right here as shown on how to set notifications and exactly what the people you want to add. So lastly, I want to talk about creating your team's board. So you want to go up to the top and click on boards, and you want to make your own features. And if you want to make your own project board, because right now we currently have the Capstone one, and you can add us, you can add your sponsors, you can add whoever you want, and you can use that to organize yourselves, to set yourself objectives every week and understand what exactly each person in the group needs to do. And the biggest thing we want you to do is optimize the custom features, which is making your old labels, making sure you list each person's list and role, and what exactly milestones or objectives you're setting each week on each card. And right here, we have an example of our private board. So with Daniel, since he's the product plan coordinator, he's 3 cards of status report, the PowerPoint presentation creation, and the plan update. Since I'm the report automator, I have initiating, planning, data collection, data analysis, and general visualization. And Angel, as the team leader coordination, she set 5 different cards from top, starting with initiation, to the bottom with the monitoring.
Stay on the slide, Aditya, and go back actually. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Go back to the previous slide on the private board. Perfect.
Yeah.
So for our requirements analysis, when we discussed this with Justina, she said that the biggest thing is we want to streamline communications. The way that the Capstone board is set up right now, it's not really optimized for us to really use it the best way. So our team's solution to this was for every team to create their own private board. So the biggest takeaway from this part right here is that you need to create a new board, follow the 1, 2, 3 step directions that Daniel went over, and create your private board. All of your objectives should come from your tracking plan and your project plan. Use those as a guideline to sort out how you need to make your cards. For example, for mine, Everything that I have to do is really organizing all of the team leaders. So I put that step by step and I broke it down to smallish sub-steps. And I took those objectives directly from the tracking plan. Next slide, please. Awesome. So here I have an Excel sheet of the tracking plan just so everyone can see how both things are very related. So as you can see, we have the legend at the top, the green for low risk, complete, the yellow are items in progress, and the red is for things that we haven't started yet or things that could potentially fall behind. So the yellow bar on the far left side, that will be the name of the project. So for example, this was from spring of last semester. That project was AML. So everything on the left-hand side, that's gonna be list of tasks. So that team broke it down step by step. And then on the far right side, you can see the tracker showing what stage they're in and if it's complete or not. So this is a really good way to consider your project dependencies, because if something depends on another thing, you can actually add a label so that your sponsor knows and then your team members know too. Next slide, please. So how will sponsors use Trello? So the way that we wanted to create the solution is for us to all have our own board. So we have like a board for all of our individual teams, and then we have the big general board. Whenever you complete a card on your list, you can actually move that card to the main board. So that way, all of your sponsors can see a progression that is in chronological order. And that's actually really good for the automation too, using the instructions that Daniel gave you earlier. The labels are going to be the really important part to indicate the task status. Use the @ symbol to notify a person, especially if you need the program director to step in or the program assistant or even your sponsor. Use that to notify them, and then that will send an email directly to them. Next slide, please. So whenever you think about how to track progress, it's really important to use the SMART guideline: specific, measurable, attainable, and relevant. We thought about these guidelines and we thought how we could adapt Trello to this and our project plan and also the tracking plan. So specific means that you use the card function because that's going to be the most detailed unit if you think about the UML that we created in the beginning of the PowerPoint. Measurable, use the checklist feature so that you can create a checklist and you can actually measure because it shows a percentile list, so you can see what percentage things are complete. The attainable means that you're planning for each week accurately and you're making sure that it's within reach. So that means really thinking about the project dependencies, what has to be completed before each thing progresses. And then relevant is making sure that everything is on task and you're not really losing focus on details that don't really matter. So this is the part that's really important to really be in communication with your project sponsor and in communication with me so that you can make sure that you're on the right track. Time-based, for that, you want to make sure that you're using the due dates accurately, because sometimes if you have it on the wrong day, the midnight of the night before, sometimes it can fall by the sidelines, especially for automated reports. Next slide, please. So whenever you begin to make your team's individual board, there are some key questions that you should ask your team and some things that you can really think about so that you can really dig deeper and really make this a simple process. Because once you make your board and once you make your list and your cards, the work is all done. Then all you have to do is just keep up with it. You can automate everything from there. So I know it seems like a lot right now to take it all in, but just take it step by step. So you want to ask your team, what are the different steps of a process? By now you should have completed your project plan, and if you need additional help with that, please ask Daniel and he can help you. What do we want to accomplish this week? That's something that you should be asking your team every week. Like, what are the key objectives? What problems do we want to solve? The essence of sales and business is solving problems to satisfy customer needs. In your case, you'll be satisfying a client need. So think about how you can really use this to help your client and your sponsor. How many subtasks can we break this into? That's going to be a really important part whenever you're making your detailed cards. So that's the most detailed unit. You can even make it more detailed by using a checklist feature, and then that will give you a percentage of where you're at. What are the task dependencies? So this is really important to think about what exactly you need to do to get to the next step. Next slide, please. So expectations for all of you. So you might be wondering, what do you need to do from here? So the first thing you need to do is to add individual lists to your team's private board. Use the step-by-step instructions on the slide that Daniel covered to do that. 2 is add your cards to organize large tasks. From here, you should go to your project plan or your tracking plan and really think about all of the big tasks that you need to break it into, and then use the checklist feature to sort all of your deliverables. So that's a really good way to just check things off, make sure that you have it done. And another really great thing is you can actually watch your team's board. So once you turn on the notifications, I created a card for turning on notifications if you need to reference that. You can look and see if you have an eye icon, and then that will tell you if you're watching the board or not. And whenever you are, that means that you're notified every time a change is made. So that'll be really important for tracking and automation. And then for the colored labels, that's going to be the part that's very crucial for the program manager. So for that, you need to remember to use the labels accurately. You can actually make your own labels, and I recommend doing it according to the tracking plan. So green for completed, yellow for in progress, and red for high risk or behind. So that's going to be the most important part. If there's anything to take away from this, is use the labels. Next slide, please. So these are the expectations for the sponsors, but I believe we'll have a separate meeting for the sponsors. So this is just so that you can know exactly what your sponsors are expecting from you, because they're going to see everything that you do on your board. So you want to make sure that you're actually using it correctly. Otherwise, they'll have no idea what you're doing. And also the program manager won't have any idea what you're doing. So this is a really important part to make sure that you're actually using the list, using the cards, and labeling them. And also make sure that you add your sponsor to the private board too. That's really important. Next slide, please. So this is what you have to do from week to week. So like I said, you can really update your cards as tasks are completed. So that's a really important part. It does seem like a lot to do now, but once you do it, it's out of the way and it's done. From now until December, all you really have to do is just check mark, check mark, check mark, label. And then another thing is moving your cards from the private board to the main board as your project progresses. So that will be really important for all of the Capstone teams to see how your project is progressing, because you are what you measure. And if you measure your progress, you can really make sure that you're on track and delivering quality. And then the automation button. So the automation button is very important for sponsors, but this is really important for project leaders too. The great way to keep track of this is to use the automation button so that you can generate reports. You can do that by board snapshot to see a broad overview of what everyone's working on. You can also do the what's due soon, what's overdue. These are all things that you can use automated reports for. You can actually make it so that it's recurring. So that way you don't have to automate it every time. You can just set it up for every Sunday now to December. Next slide, please. Well, thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for the waiting through the technical difficulties. If you'd like to schedule a 20-minute session, please email us with a calendar invite, and that will actually transition to our next part, which is calendar invites and business etiquette. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Are you guys gonna go over the part where you guys gonna let students know how to download this on your phone? I just hoping this is gonna happen.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
So I want everyone to grab their phone right now. I know you have it on you, don't pretend. So I want you to go to your app store. I have an iPhone, I'm not sure about Android. If anyone has an Android, I can help you separately. So go to the app store and then type in
Should be
Trello,
similar.
the space board.
Yeah, it should be similar on Android. Just go to the Google Play Store.
Awesome. So everyone go to the spacebar, press in Trello, and it should be the first thing that pops up, Trello, organize anything. So download that, use your Face ID or your passcode to download that. And then it's gonna be the same login that you use to log in on the desktop. If you haven't logged in on the desktop yet, that's okay. Just reach out to me. There's no shame, just as long as you're using it now. From here onwards, that's the really important part, because our team, we really need all of the data from you so that we know how you're doing. And then once you do that, you'll see at the bottom there's boards, my cards, search, notifications, and then your account. So what you want to do is go to the settings. I'm looking for the settings right now. It's moved a little bit because there was just an update. But I also put these directions as well on the Trello board. So I'll just pull that up. And then that way, if anyone's watching this recording, they can just follow along from that card as well. If you go to Fall 2021 Capstone, go to the Welcome to Capstone Program Trello board. At the very bottom, there's a card that says Turning on Notifications for September 30th. So go to that. And then, so settings is, notifications is in the-
Angel, is it possible for you to share this on the screen that everyone can see it?
well,
I
since
think
it's
she'll
on,
have to be on this. She
Yeah,
probably
since
had to join on the Zoom call on the app.
oh, I have an idea. Aditya, can you share your screen and then go to the Capstone board?
Yeah. Give me a moment. Okay.
Awesome. So for the interactive portion, I'll get into everything later once I tell everyone about turning on notifications. This is the card I made with detailed instructions for turning on notifications and also for downloading the mobile app. And I also included links on the more information subheader right there. So can you go down just a little bit, please? Scroll down. Scroll down more. Okay, scroll down. Okay, or scroll up again. Scroll up.
Sorry. Where do you want me to go specifically? I can get there.
Okay, I just want you to stop right here. Awesome.
Okay.
So on the mobile app, go to notifications, and then settings should be in the top right corner.
The biggest thing is if you can't do this now, just when you go to the Trello Capstone board, it will literally be the very first one, the Welcome to Capstone Program Trello board, and it's the very last card at the bottom.
I'm not sure if this works or not, but if you can see right there, notifications, it's the fourth one down right here. And then you're gonna click the little gear icon right here. So click that little gear icon, and then this has your notification settings. So you can turn it on for everything. So the blue check mark will indicate that it's on, and then the green. So that's how you make sure your notifications are on the mobile app. As far as the desktop goes, as long as you're watching the card, then you'll be notified. But we can actually go through Trello right now and show everyone some key items. I'll let Aditya take it from here since he's already screen sharing.
Yeah, so there are different things you can do. So you can go ahead and add members. So there will be initials here, and you can find your teammates' initials. Or if you can't find them, just search up their name. Next, we have labels. We were talking about this. Now, this is the general Capstone board, so they have all their labels there. But this is the most important part. We want to make sure for each of your cards, you have specific labels set up. And you can create new labels if needed. And if you're colorblind, they have a colorblind friendly mode as well. Third, we have the checklist like Angel's talking about. You can set it to whatever you like. You call it checklist. And you can make sure that you have actions to complete, or you set these up yourselves, and making sure that those checklists are set up just in time for whatever you need each week. Next, we'll do dates. And so if you want to set a specific due date, you want to do something like, let's say, October 7th, and you want to set a reminder. So you could set a reminder to 1 day before, and this will email everybody notifying you, okay, this task is due 1 day before. Or you can do it even 1 hour before if you're like extreme procrastinating, something like that. But usually 1 or 2 days before, that's what I'd recommend setting those notifications up to. Next, we have attachments. That's just if you have something on your computer, or you wrote something on a Word document, or you put something in like a paste bin, you can attach anything onto this Trello board and it'll put it onto here.
And Aditya, if you could just pause for a moment, I got a question from someone. Someone asked how you can add a recurring event. And that's a great question. So what you can do is you can use like a card repeater. So can you exit out of that, click the Add Powerups button, right under Powerups, but below Google Drive?
Oh, wait, hang on.
No, click the card, client, presentation.
Oh,
yes.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I
so
see that.
Plus Add Powerups. So Powerups are really cool because there's some key features, but there's actually a repeat card feature. So you can just add that, and they're all enabled. They should be free. And you can just add a repeating power up. So what you do is it's called Card Repeater Power Up. And I believe there's like a search option too, if you don't want to look through all of it. But what you do is you open the board menu on the right side of the page, and then select it once you add the power up. Yeah, that's the one. So put regular task on repeat. So you just add that.
Oh, wait. Where do we do that? Hang on.
There should be an enable button.
Yeah, that's what I'm
It's
trying
already
to
enabled.
find. It's already enabled, yeah.
Oh,
So
it is. Okay, great. So yeah, that's how you can use add recurring events. You just do the card repeater power up. So power ups are key features. I didn't want to give that all at once. I actually wanted to create that as something that we focus on for like the team leader meeting, but that's a great question. Go ahead and get that out of the way. And whenever you do the card repeater, you can just click the repeat button on the back of any card to set it to repeat, and you can actually stop the repeat as well. You can also add like recurring deadlines, recurring due dates. And the great thing is that your sponsor and the program manager will actually see that too.
yeah,
But,
so the button right here under power ups.
Yeah, it's on repeat. So right here, you can add one for weekly. So just as an example, this is the card that I made for my team for our first client presentation. And what I did was I divided it into main objectives, deliverables, and important dates. We had a lot of things to keep track of the first week. So after this slide, I actually added some that had checklists. If you can go back to our list, Aditya, and go through some of the cards that have the checklist enabled, that would be great.
One here, hang on.
I think checkpoint 1 meeting had some checklists.
Checkpoint 1 deliverables, this one.
I don't believe this one had a checklist. checkpoint 1 deliverables. Yeah. So do you remember when I was mentioning there's like a percentile bar that shows you what your progress is? As you're going through and checking things off, it will actually update that bar right there. And the way that you can add things to it is on the right-hand side. There's checklists and you just add items. And another thing that I wanted to mention, the most important part that I wanted to mention, go up, Aditya, to the labels. So yeah, so on the labels, you want to click the plus mark and then add labels so that your sponsor can know where you're at. I also wanted to mention this is the main fall capstone board. So this is going to be the general board. Can you please go to our private board? Or actually, let's show everyone how to create a board first. Daniel, do you want to show everyone?
Well, we can just click over here, create a new board, add a board title. So let's just put example.
And then Daniel can take over from here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, the whole idea for us to want you guys to create your own private board is so that it's easier for you to condense what you want to show to sponsors, and you can show them your progress in a simpler way. And so after you create your board, you can, as you can see in the middle of the top section, you can press the invite button. And so you invite your team, you type in their names or emails, and you would also want to invite your sponsor just so that they can see it just between y'all, so they can check on what you guys are doing. And then so, Aditi, you want to just go to our own private board that we already had?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Can you speak up a little bit, because I can barely hear you.
So that's how you access your own private board. On the top left, you click it, and then you can see the multiple different options of boards you have. And so as you can see at the top, you can adjust like the names and everything. So each of us, we put our names and what our roles were, and underneath them, we added our own cards, and I adjusted mine to how I felt comfortable. So you guys can all adjust for what you feel comfortable with, and you can tag yourselves so you're accountable for what you do. And so I my own labels to show my progress. So I still haven't completely updated my second card yet, which was in progress from last night. So I need to complete that since we did our PowerPoint. And so yeah, it helps me constantly update what I'm doing. I completed status report 3 and everything. And there's an automation system which shows you all the reports and everything on the top right hand side. I can show you guys how to set up your automation system if you want to help, Lydia.
Yeah, so just click on automations, and we could do email reports, and there are 4 different kinds. So which one do you want to start with?
Just like the due soon reports, I guess.
Okay. And they'll give like an exact email preview of what is coming up soon, what's due soon for your team. And you can send a personal message. This is mainly for the team leaders. The team leaders should be the ones that should be sending the emails, because they're the ones that are leading the way for their respective projects. So you can send it to whoever you need to, whether that's, in this case, this is my email, the subject, and what exactly you want them to do. And you could do email me a test or schedule a report. So emailing a test would be sending this preview, and scheduling a report would be sending the full thing. Anything else, Daniel? Is there anything else you need?
You could show them kind of my example for private board, honestly. So I think I added stuff for the project plan 4 update. So if you click on that.
Okay. I'm gonna need you to speak up because I can barely hear you.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but so yeah, I added a couple of stuff just to like help me with what I needed to do. So in my comments, I listed things I needed to add and everything, and what has been done so far that I need to add to my project plan. So that kind of helps me. And so this is just kind of an example of what you guys could do. And so when you guys get to the capstone board, you guys can make it simpler for what you've completed, like a bigger task that you completed for your sponsor to see. which really help. And that's why we really want you guys to use your own private board. But in terms of that, I think that's about it for that. We can show them more stuff if you have any more ideas.
And I think we've mentioned this already, but we want to emphasize this again. Labels are the most important because this is the easiest way to organize your cards. For us in our private board, we just have what's completed, what's in progress, and what we might be behind with. So we'll just label it depending on the dates we set. And this is the most important for your sponsors to see and for your team leaders and for the members so that you could track your own progress for each of these goals that you set every week.
And Adi, yeah, can you go back to the email automation and pull up the preview? I just want to show everyone something.
Yeah. Should we do just due soon?
Yeah.
Or do you want to do? Okay, cool.
Let's go to board overview.
Board overview. Okay. Hang on.
You have to click the X first and then click automation. Board snapshot.
Oh, board snapshot. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So I just want to show everyone what your sponsor will see and then what the program director will see. So on the right-hand side, you can see there's green and then there's two that are yellow. The reason why labels are so important is because everyone is going to see only just the label and the name of the card and the date and who's responsible for it. They don't see any details or anything. So it's really important that you use labels correctly because if you don't label, they won't know exactly what part you're on, what's been completed. And even for things that you haven't started on, go ahead and add a red label for that because those are things that you haven't started yet, things that you're behind on, or things that are just generally high risk. So that's the reason why that's very important. And we'll actually modify this so that everyone is using the same type of label. The label names that I used are actually exactly what was in the tracking plan and the project planner. So we just have completed, low risk, in progress, medium risk, and then not started / high risk. So just red, yellow, green, keep it simple. And the other thing I want to mention is if you exit out of this, I wanted to ask everyone if they can point out what's wrong with our private board. So if you see an eye icon, that means that you're actually watching the list or watching the board. If you don't see the eye icon, that means you're not. So what's wrong with this list is that me and Daniel, we haven't watched the card yet because this card was just recently made for demonstration purposes. But following this meeting, we'll make sure to add the eye icon so that we're all watching it. If you add yourself to the card too, you're watching it. But you also want to make sure that you invite your sponsor at the top with the invite button and make sure that they're all watching it. And then the star next to private Trello team, make sure you star that board because if you star it, then you automatically watch everything too. So that's just something else important to mention. And if you ever need like a new label, just let Justina or Jessica know, and then they can make adjustments to that. But we just want to keep everything consistent because the whole purpose of this is not to complicate things, it's to simplify everything.
The biggest thing is you guys have a lot of time to like experiment, mess around with Trello as well. So, and also don't feel free to reach out to us because we know exactly what we're doing and we can help you with any questions you have or anything you need.
Is there anything else that you want to add, Daniel?
Not really. I think you guys covered most of it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Is there any well, just
Any
last thing, is there
questions?
any questions? Yeah. I guess not. Okay.
Can you click the initiation card for me?
This is an advice and a feedback to the team. Trello team put lots of work into this presentation. So at least please acknowledge if they're asking you guys, if you guys have any question, please let them know. We don't have any questions. A great presentation. This is your teammate.
Can you go to my initiation card?
Yeah. Okay.
Great. So I just wanted to show everyone how I broke mine up. So for the description, I just wrote exactly what initiation will entail. And then I just used the checklist for the deliverables. So if you have received a Google form from me filling out your availability, that was a deliverable for me. And then I also made a card to turn notifications. That was another deliverable. The next step on here would be to add a label, a green label for completed. And then the other thing that I could do is add members to card. So for that, I would add everyone on my team and my sponsor and the program assistant.
And also the biggest thing I kind of want to emphasize is that doing the Trello board is also part of your grades, but it will also be really beneficial to myself because this is kind of part of my presentation, exporting all this data and using it to analyze and exactly how we can make Trello more efficient and how teams can be more productive as well.
Yes, so this is 60% of our grade and also a component of your grade and also your karma. I'm just kidding about that, but it would really help if you use Trello for us. Can you click launch? Under my list. So you can see there's like 2 out of 2 completed, 0 out of 2, 0 out of 3.
Oh.
Yeah. So click launch.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So for that, these are the items that I haven't started yet. But once I meet all of the team leaders, then I can actually start checking these things off. So my next step, now that I've gotten everyone's availability, is I'm going to reach out to all the team leaders. I'm going to see what coaching they need. And then after that, I'll send a recap email, like a summary. You can include that on your team activity. And I think the next thing on our agenda was sending like an Outlook invite.
Yes, we can move to next item. So there's no questions for the team. This is the last call. Anybody has a question, concern, or you guys want to provide the feedback? That's the time you can do it.
Awesome. I think I've reached out to most of the team leaders actually and let them know that we'd be having this presentation. So I really appreciate everyone showing up and giving us your time.
Awesome. Great job.